Have you ever noticed how some women seem to draw men in without even trying? They don't have to be the loudest in the room. They don't have to dress in a flashy way. And yet, men can't stop noticing them. It's almost as if they carry a secret, invisible magnetism. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, believed that real attraction goes far deeper than looks. Beauty can catch the eye, but it's something else, something unconscious, that keeps the heart hooked. That's why some women can be considered dangerously seductive without lifting a finger. Their behaviors, their presence, their energy. These are what awaken something primal in men. And here's the truth. Most women don't even realize they're doing it. It's not about trying harder or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding the hidden signals that men's minds respond to. Signals rooted in Jung's ideas about archetypes and the shadow self. In this video, we're going to uncover the subtle female behaviors that make men fall harder than they ever expected. These aren't tricks, and they're not manipulations. They're deep psychological keys that explain why certain women leave a mark men can't erase. So, if you've ever wondered why men can't stop thinking about certain women, stay with me until the end. What you'll learn might surprise you, and it might just change the way you see yourself. And before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss videos like this. Because today's insights might just unlock a power you didn't even know you had. To really understand why men find certain behaviors irresistible, we need to look through Carl Jung's lens. Jung believed that we're all guided by unconscious forces, archetypes, shadows, and inner energies that quietly shape the way we see others. Attraction isn't just about what we consciously notice. It's about what stirs in the depths of the psyche. Men, for example, carry within them what Jung called the anima, the inner feminine. When a woman shows certain behaviors, she doesn't just catch a man's eye. She awakens his anima. She stirs something ancient and emotional inside him, often without saying a word. That's why sometimes a man will say, "I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about her." This is also why true seduction isn't about physical beauty alone. Looks can fade, trends change, but the unconscious never stops responding to energy, presence, and behavior. When a woman embodies mystery, authenticity, or emotional depth, she reflects something inside a man that he longs to connect with. Now, I want to be clear. What we're talking about here isn't manipulation. These aren't tricks to play on men. Jung's insights reveal that real attraction is about authenticity. It's about living in a way that aligns with who you truly are. And as we go through these dangerously seductive behaviors, keep asking yourself, which of these do I already carry within me? Perhaps without even realizing it? Because the truth is, many women are more powerful than they know. Stay with me, and I'll show you exactly why. And don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already, because this journey into Jung psychology is just beginning. Let me ask you this. Why is it that the less a woman reveals, the more a man seems to chase? It's because mystery is one of the most dangerously seductive behaviors a woman can carry. Men, by nature, are wired to pursue. When everything is laid out too quickly, the pursuit ends before it even begins. But when a woman allows just enough space, when she shares herself slowly, piece by piece, it awakens something primal in him. Imagine this. At a dinner party, two women are talking to the same man. One is an open book, sharing every detail of her life within the first 10 minutes. The other is warm, engaging, but doesn't overshare. She listens, she smiles, she reveals little pieces, but keeps the rest tucked away. Guess which woman he can't stop thinking about later? The one who left him curious. The one who gave him something to wonder about. Carl Jung explained this through projection. A man will project what's missing inside himself onto the mysterious woman. In her silence, he imagines his own desires. In her restraint, he fills in the blanks with his fantasies. The danger? He doesn't just fall for who she is, he falls for the idea of her, the version of her that exists in his unconscious. And this is why mystery is powerful, but also delicate. It draws men in deeper than they expect, because the less he knows, the more he imagines. It makes her unforgettable. Stay with me, because the next behavior might surprise you. It's not about silence, but about presence. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it now, because each behavior builds on the next, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Have you ever noticed how rare it feels to be truly listened to? In a world where most people are distracted, a woman who gives her full emotional presence is magnetic. Men might not always say it, but when a woman looks at him, listens without interrupting, and really hears him, it creates a memory he can't shake. Picture this. A man shares something vulnerable, maybe a struggle at work or a childhood story he doesn't tell often. One woman nods absent-mindedly, waiting for her turn to speak. Another woman leans in, her eyes soft, her attention steady. She doesn't rush to fix, she doesn't judge, she simply listens. That moment will live in him long after the conversation ends. Why? Because in her presence, he feels seen. Carl Jung would say, this touches his anima, the feminine within him. When a woman listens deeply, she activates a part of him that longs for connection and wholeness. He isn't just attracted to her words. He's drawn to the way she makes him feel safe to reveal himself. And that kind of bond goes beyond surface attraction. It's soul deep. The dangerous part? A man may confuse this experience with love itself. He might fall harder than he expected, not because of her beauty, but because of how rare and nourishing her emotional presence feels. And here's the best part. You don't have to perform to create this effect. True listening is natural when you slow down and allow space for someone else's heart to come forward. In a moment, we'll talk about another behavior that men secretly find irresistible, playful rebellion. But before we do, remember to hit subscribe, because each behavior you're learning is a piece of the Jungian puzzle. And by the end, you'll see exactly why these signals are so powerful. There's something irresistibly magnetic about a woman who doesn't always play by the rules, but does it with a smile. This isn't about being reckless or confrontational. It's about having that spark of playful rebellion, that light-hearted way of bending the rules and reminding everyone that life is meant to be lived with freedom. Men are drawn to this energy because it awakens something inside of them too. Many men walk through life carrying heavy responsibilities, routines, and expectations. When they meet a woman who laughs at the little rules, who dares to order dessert before dinner, or who playfully challenges the status quo, it feels like a breath of fresh air. Carl Jung would call this a stirring of the shadow, the hidden, repressed part of ourselves that craves freedom and vitality. A man watching a woman embrace her playful side unconsciously feels his own shadow waking up, whispering, I want that too. And this is where it becomes dangerously seductive. It's not just that she's fun. It's that she unlocks a side of him he's kept buried. Suddenly, he's not just attracted to her. He's addicted to the feeling of freedom she brings out in him. Stay tuned, because the next behavior might surprise you. It's not about rebellion. It's about something even more powerful, vulnerability. And before we go there, don't forget to subscribe, because the deeper we go into Jung's psychology, the more pieces you'll see coming together. Now let's talk about something that may seem opposite of power, but in truth, it's one of the most dangerously seductive behaviors a woman can have. Authentic vulnerability. Think about it. Most of us go through life wearing masks, trying to appear strong, composed, and in control. But when a woman allows herself to show a glimpse of her fears, her imperfections, or her tender side, it has a profound effect on a man. Imagine this. During a late-night conversation, a woman admits she sometimes feels lonely, or that she's afraid of not being enough. She doesn't dramatize it. She doesn't make it heavy. She simply shares it honestly. In that moment, the man feels something shift. Suddenly, she's not just a polished surface. She's real. She's human. And that reality draws him closer. Jung would say this is about shadow integration. When a woman shows her imperfections, she mirrors back to a man the parts of himself he usually hides. He sees his own fears reflected in her courage to reveal hers. That creates an intimacy deeper than words. It's the sense that you and I are the same. The danger? This level of vulnerability can create a bond so powerful that a man mistakes it for destiny. He feels connected not just to her, but to his own hidden self through her. And that's why it lingers long after the conversation is over. The truth is, authentic vulnerability isn't weakness. It's strength in its most human form. And when paired with confidence, it's unforgettable. Up next, we'll explore another seductive behavior, one that doesn't require words at all. Silent confidence. So keep watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is a moment to do it. Because the next insight may just change how you see yourself completely. Some women don't need to say a word to be noticed. They don't need to dress the loudest, laugh the hardest, or dominate the room. Their power comes from something much quieter. Silent confidence. Picture this. A woman walks into a gathering. She isn't trying to grab attention. She isn't seeking approval. She simply carries herself with calm assurance. Her shoulders are relaxed. Her gaze is steady. Her smile is soft but certain. Without even realizing why, men notice her. They feel pulled toward her presence, not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. Carl Jung would say, this reflects the archetype of a self, the state of wholeness and balance within. When a woman radiates silent confidence, she's not operating from neediness or insecurity. She is simply herself, and that authenticity is magnetic. Men can sense it unconsciously, and it draws them in. The danger in this? Men often can't explain why they're so attracted. They may even say, there's just something about her. That something is her self-possession. The quiet way she proves she doesn't need external validation. And paradoxically, that's exactly what makes others want to give it to her. This kind of confidence doesn't shout. It whispers, and yet it's unforgettable. Keep watching, because the next behavior goes even deeper. It's about the raw power of feminine energy itself. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Because what you'll hear next might just be the missing piece in how attraction truly works. Now we come to one of the most profound behaviors Carl Jung's psychology helps us understand: the power of feminine energy. Jung believed that men carry the anima, the inner feminine, inside their psyche. When a woman embodies her natural feminine energy, she awakens something soul deep in a man. This isn't about being passive or submissive. It's about embracing qualities like warmth, gentleness, receptivity, and grace. Think of a woman whose movements are soft, whose tone is soothing, whose presence feels like calm water in a noisy world. She doesn't push or force. She invites. She doesn't compete with masculine energy. She balances it. And men find this impossible to resist because, on an unconscious level, activates their longing for wholeness. Here's a story. A man once described a woman he met years ago. He couldn't recall what she was wearing, or even the exact details of their conversation. But what he remembered vividly was how soft she was, her laugh, the way she leaned in when she listened, the gentle way she touched his arm when making a point. That softness imprinted on him more than any physical feature. This is the true essence of feminine energy. It lingers. It doesn't scream for attention, but it leaves a mark on the soul. And when a man feels this, it can be dangerously seductive because he experiences not just her, but the part of himself that longs for balance and tenderness. That's why Jung's ideas remind us. True attraction isn't surface level. It's archetypal. It's unconscious. It's the dance of energies we don't always have words for. And next, we'll explore a behavior that ties it all together. The untouchable standard. The boundaries that make a woman unforgettable. Stay with me. And if you haven't already, subscribe now, because the final behaviors will reveal why some women leave men captivated long after they're gone. One of the most dangerously seductive behaviors a woman can embody is this. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't lower her standards just to keep someone around. Instead, she holds her ground with quiet dignity. And that alone makes men lean in closer. Imagine a man testing boundaries, maybe showing up late, maybe giving half-hearted effort. Some women tolerate it, hoping he'll change. But the woman who calmly says, "This doesn't work for me," without anger, without drama, simply with certainty, that woman is unforgettable. Carl Jung would call this individuation, living true to herself, not bending to please others, but aligning with her authentic self. A woman in this state radiates wholeness. She doesn't seek completion from outside. She already carries it within. And men find this both intimidating and irresistibly magnetic. Why? Dangerously seductive. Because men can't help but respect it. Boundaries signal value. They tell him, if you want to be in my world, you must rise to the level of my standard. And many men, consciously or not, crave exactly that challenge. It awakens their desire to be worthy. This is the paradox. By not chasing, she is chased. By not begging for love, she inspires deeper love. And as we move into the emotional layer, stay with me, because I want to show you why these behaviors matter far more than beauty, and why they leave such lasting marks on men's hearts. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time, because the closing insights will bring everything full circle. Here's the truth many people overlook. Looks may capture attention, but it's behavior, energy, presence, authenticity that captures a soul. Physical beauty fades. Styles change. But the way a woman makes a man feel, that never leaves him. Carl Jung's psychology helps us understand why. These seductive behaviors don't just appeal to logic or surface attraction. They bypass the conscious mind and go straight into the unconscious. They awaken his anima, stir his shadow, or mirror his deeper self. That's why a man might forget a woman's face with time, but he'll never forget the way her presence made him feel alive, seen, or challenged. Think of it this way. Anyone can admire beauty, but when a woman embodies mystery or deep listening or boundaries, she doesn't just attract, she transforms. She activates something inside of him that he didn't even know was there. And that kind of connection isn't just seductive, it's unforgettable. That's why men fall harder for behaviors than for looks. Looks can be admired at a glance, but these behaviors, they live in his memory, his psyche, his dreams. And in just a moment, I'll share a reassuring message for women everywhere. Because these behaviors aren't about being someone else. They're about being more of yourself. So stay until the end. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the moment. Because the final takeaway may be the reminder you didn't even know you needed. Now, before we close, let me offer a gentle reminder to every woman listening. You don't need to force these behaviors. You don't need to perform them like lines in a play or wear them like a mask. True feminine power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from embracing who you already are. Carl Jung taught that real transformation isn't about adding something artificial. It's about integration. When you accept both your light and your shadow, when you stop fighting parts of yourself and begin living from wholeness, these qualities naturally shine through. Mystery doesn't mean playing games. It means you don't feel the need to overshare. Deep listening isn't a tactic. It flows when you genuinely care. Silent confidence isn't practiced in front of a mirror. It grows as you stop needing external approval. The truth is, every woman can embody these behaviors in her own unique way. You don't need to look like anyone else, speak like anyone else, or live like anyone else. Your individuality is the very thing that makes you magnetic. So let this be your reassurance. The more you accept yourself, the more effortlessly these behaviors rise to the surface. You don't have to chase being seductive. Your authenticity is already your most dangerous and beautiful power. And in just a moment, I'll bring all of this together into one final empowering takeaway. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time, because you'll want to carry this closing message with you. So let's bring this full circle. We've walked through 7 dangerously seductive behaviors. The power of mystery, emotional presence, playful rebellion, authentic vulnerability, silent confidence, feminine energy, and the untouchable standard. Each one taps into a man's psyche in a way that looks alone never could. But remember, true seduction isn't about manipulation. It isn't about tricks or strategies. It's about authenticity. These behaviors don't demand you to become someone you're not. They invite you to return to who you truly are. The most magnetic women aren't the ones chasing perfection. They're the ones embracing their presence, their boundaries, their softness, and their strength. They are living, breathing reminders that feminine power doesn't shout, it radiates. So here's your takeaway. You don't need to compete with anyone, and you don't need to perform. Embrace your mystery. Honor your boundaries. Listen deeply. Allow yourself to be both soft and strong. In doing so, you become unforgettable, not because you tried to seduce, but because you allowed your authentic self to shine. And if this message resonated with you, make sure you subscribe and stay with me for future videos. Because together, we'll continue to explore the hidden depths of Carl Jung's wisdom and how it applies to modern relationships and personal power. Until then, keep shining in your own feminine truth, because that's where your real magic lives.